This is probably going to be one of the hardest videos I've made so far in my career as a YouTuber, on the count that of what I've been going through for the past couple days ever since a particular situation, mainly involving most of the Bluey fandom on the internet, how it completely blew up out of nowhere, and just to the point where all of us at this point are just feeling complete rock bottom. What I'm talking about is a Bluey YouTuber named B&B Productions. Basically, the content he mainly makes as of nowadays is anything in regards to this kids show named Bluey. He does reviews, episode reviews, especially conspiracy theories, iceberg videos, merch unboxing, at least things like that, and sometimes even Bluey memes as well, at least occasionally. So, what has been going on in terms of the guy in general? Well, I'll tell you. As of recently, he made a couple community posts, one of them consisting of him saying that he's been very depressed and very mentally unstable, on the count that when he was basically venting out his feelings and his stress that was going on at the moment, even especially of course on his Twitter, what happened was people just out of nowhere decided to harass him by spamming an image of the Bluey character Busker doing a Jekko pose. They were just spamming shit like that. Like, that's exactly what they were spamming, and for what he said, he even got doxxed probably, which is just really unfair. And now, I'm afraid that's not even half of the incident. As B&B himself stated that he didn't even like necessarily, he didn't necessarily even like the image, because I'm assuming because the character Busker is based on a real person, especially if it's the person who makes the Bluey soundtrack for the most part. But when he said that, at least a few people or so from Twitter decided to use one of his iceberg videos against him, claiming that why would he say such a thing about that one image? Excuse me. While at the same time, he left up his first two Bluey iceberg videos consisting of cropped Bluey Roll 34 in one of those parts of those videos. Now let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Based on any circumstantial evidence against your claim that apparently B&B is some sort of pedo because he showed a cropped image of Bluey Roll 34 to an audience that's most likely at least 70% of them are minors, I guess you could say. Even so, I'm pretty sure he literally made a fucking disclaimer, not only in the first few seconds of his fucking video, but I know for a fact he made that same disclaimer saying that none of his videos are for kids, despite of Bluey being a kids show, and that's the main thing that he discusses about on any of his videos today. But he makes those disclaimers. He made that in the beginning of his iceberg videos, and probably most of his other videos for that matter. And in every single video he's made to this day, I'm pretty sure he actually even put that said disclaimer right in the fucking description below his video. And before you guys come jumping into conclusions saying things like, it doesn't matter if he put a disclaimer saying that kids shouldn't be watching his videos, especially the iceberg videos, especially if it included the Bluey Roll 34, whether it's cropped or not, he was promoting child pornography to minors, knowing damn well that his audience were minors. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You know how a lot of people, if not everyone, tends to say that quote-unquote child grooming is rather about intentions and all that? Let me tell you something. I happen to know, based on circumstantial evidence, especially with his disclaimers and all that shit, especially like, you know, what the video is supposed to be about, especially if it's about the Bluey iceberg video that he made that featured the Bluey in it. You gotta understand this, alright? The iceberg videos, in case you don't know what they are, it represents the tip of the iceberg, the very tip, or the very bottom, which was like the dark, deep abyss of the iceberg. And it can be based on anything, whether it's like shows, video games, companies, whatever, products even, for that matter. And here's the thing about this, alright? Iceberg videos are going to be steadily disturbing as the video goes on. Not only does he put his disclaimers at the beginning of his video and in the video description that there's going to be some very disturbing, very unknown content on there, especially if it's also like very dark, frightening, even completely unusual stuff based on whatever the source he's doing the iceberg on, because he's doing an iceberg on Bluey, alright? If he's gonna mention and bring up and even show a cropped image of Bluey doing it with Bandit, please be fucking aware his main intentions were to prove a point that not only does the Bluey Rule 34 exist, and that it's bad, of course, but it represents the very abyss of the iceberg. And if not, even at the bottom, like in the deep, dark, black, pitch black abyss. I know I said abyss already, but I don't know what other words to describe it. But anyway, the very, very bottom of the iceberg, the most bottom point of the iceberg, is the Bluey, especially if there's child involved that's being drawn by these sick fucking creepos. I don't know if that's a real word, by the way, but I kind of just made it up. But you still get my point, right? Like, if most of you, if not every single one of you, say that him being a quote-unquote child groomer is about his intents and everything, his intentions or whatnot, you need to understand that it's literally none of his intention to actually show Bluey Rule 34, whether it's cropped, like even if it happens to be cropped or not, like whether it's cropped or not, it was none of his intentions to actually show that kind of stuff to anyone who's a minor, whether he knew a lot of his audiences were minors or not. Because if you really think about it, do you know that as much as I'm aware that children can really get themselves into trouble and not actually get in trouble, because it's understood that children are not going to know any better at first, especially minors, because their brains are still developing and all that throughout the years of their teenhood and all that. And they're going to see something that we're going to regret seeing. I get that. What I don't get is that, like what I said about BMB's intentions into referencing the Bluey Rule 34 in his iceberg videos, what you guys need to entirely understand is that even if he knew there's going to be some minors, if not a lot of minors and children viewing his iceberg videos, especially if it's mainly about Bluey, the kids show Bluey, considering it's mainly a fucking kids show. I know a lot of adults enjoy it too, so it's kind of like a show for everybody, but mainly towards kids because it's super kid friendly and all that. You need to understand that even if he knew a lot of his audiences are pretty much children and minors, what is he supposed to do about it? It's like you're saying he can't make any iceberg videos at all. He can't make any points on why not only is the Blue Rule 34 disturbing, but even any other disturbing content that revolves around Bluey, especially if it's like super dark, super unknown, super scary, and sad even. Because that's basically the point of the fucking iceberg videos. There's tons of fucking iceberg videos, let's say, based on SpongeBob, Peppa Pig, The Amazing World of Gumball, that kind of shit. And it's like, even as a person who never necessarily viewed any other iceberg, because I'm just not really into that stuff for the most part, I know for a damn fact that iceberg videos are supposed to be disturbing. I know it shouldn't be as disturbing as actually showing child porn, whether it's like cropped or not. Because again, it's based on fucking intention. His fucking intentions. BMB's intentions. I just happen to know damn well that he wouldn't actually show it directly to minors. And even if minors managed to view his content, whether he specifically stated that that it shouldn't be viewable by children by any means. And let's say even if you make some sort of counter argument in the comments, let's just say, about how little kids, especially minors and even teenagers for that matter, might not understand what any of this disclaimers means, or even can't read the fucking words of these disclaimers. Like, what is he supposed to do about it? He has no control of that, because you want to know something? Any child who has access, who has their little hands access to the fucking computer, either that or their phones or tablets, iPads, whatever, especially without their parents' supervision and all that. What I'm saying right now is that no matter what you're going to post on YouTube, even if it's going to be like very highly matured content, or even like making fun of a bunch of inappropriate or even illegal things, and I'm not talking about like actually posting illegal stuff just to be illegal, just to do illegal things. That's still a different situation. But what I'm talking about is if you make fun, even if you make the fun of the most illegal shit, like you just make fun of them and joke around about them, like saying how it's bad, so we're gonna point and laugh at that, or at least be disturbed, like for the idea for it to be disturbed by it, and like actually get the creators' points and all that. It's like no matter what you do, children, even at least any amount of children and minors who have access to the internet, are going to find that kind of stuff, or at least view that kind of stuff, and you know, like, if they do get traumatized or mentally scarred, I'm not saying it's their fault, but neither am I going to say it's the creator's fault. In fact, what I'm going to say is that the real fault is not necessarily anybody at all. Or at least I could say it's nobody's fault, ideally, except for, let's say, the Bluey porn artists who especially make all the child porn of the Bluey characters, like the underage Bluey characters. See, those are the only people that I will consider to be at complete fault. Otherwise, it's not the children's fault, neither is it the creator's fault. So basically, B&B Productions, like, yes, it was technically a mistake that he included the cropped blue Rule 34, especially since people were just suddenly today, making a big fucking deal out of this entire situation, that, like, he happened to feature cropped Bluey in the end of his iceberg video to literally prove a point that that's exactly the thing that belongs in the most bottom of the Bluey iceberg. Even if minors happen to be seeing this, like, it's not B&B's fault. He wasn't trying to get minors to do it, and even if with that intent, minors can still access to that stuff, and it's still not going to be B&B's fault for that either, because it's not a controllable thing. You know how minors on the internet, like, they think they can do whatever they want because it's like they're always so curious as hell, and they just can't fucking help themselves but to, like, even go on, let's say, Rule 34 or something like that, say, or even type like Bluey X Bandit, and they're gonna have shit like this pop up on Google Images or something like that. There's literally like billions of people in the fucking world, and at least, let's say, 2/3 of that billions of people are gonna be kids who have access to the internet, and they can do what they think they can do whatever they want. Because I definitely get if it's because, like, the brains haven't developed yet, or let's just say they're just curious and all that because of, like, whatever video they were watching, and like, and also, have you heard of kids who can be dragged out into watching, let's say, R-rated movies, whether it's like horror movies or explicit movies? Maybe not. I'm not saying like innocent, like not safe for work movies or anything like that. I'm talking about, like, again, R-rated movies that feature a lot of sex scenes, pretty hard violence. What else? Oh yeah, jump scares, scary images, like, especially of, like, people getting killed, or like zombies or whatever, monsters, whatever. Even like just straight up cussing, swearing, heavy swearing. Sorry, that was my cat's tail. There she is. Yeah, it was nice for her to join in despite this being a more negative video. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that kids can have. I'm not saying kids should have access to any of that explicit stuff, especially at their particularly young age or whatever. What I'm saying is that if you're a child on the internet, and don't get me wrong, if you know not to view that stuff already, or if you view that stuff but didn't know it was bad until like everything is gone before you know it, then it's like I'm not blaming you, alright? What I'm rather blaming is basically the people who create the stuff that's actually harmful, like intentionally being harmful to actual children. Alright? Again, I'm not saying BMB is one of them, because I said this already. I'm going to keep saying it. I don't care that it was not his intention to show cropped Bluey Rule 34 directly to minors just to show it to minors. It was a fucking iceberg video. He had disclaimers. And even so, kids on the internet can have access to that anyway. They're not going to listen. And you just can't do anything about it. What do you want him to do? Not make the video? He saw that other people were doing icebergs, and he thought it'd be more unique. Sorry, that was my phone. He thought it would be more unique, rather, to make, let's say, a Bluey iceberg. And even I tend to think that's rather interesting. Like, I don't think a lot of other people would actually make icebergs of Bluey content, or like even the show Bluey itself. So hopefully you understand what I'm saying. I believe BMB, even though it's safe to say it was a mistake, if, let's say, more than a lot of kids even, or minors for that matter, saw the cropped Bluey child art that was being featured and got very concerned about it, especially when they told him to, they keep telling him to take it down or completely remove that segment and all that. It's not like he had the option. I mean, technically he did have the option, but it's not like it's not like he was supposed to not make the video at all, whether he knew, especially if he knew that some amounts of his audiences are in fact underage children, basically children and other people that are underage, at least you can say that. I'm just trying to this is basically my take, and I hope everyone at least takes that into an account in consideration that yes, it was a mistake, because he didn't mean to hurt anybody with this entire thing, his part of his older Bluey iceberg videos. I know he still has the third one still up because it didn't feature any Bluey art or whatnot. But what I'm saying is that even if that was considered a mistake, he deserves to have room to grow. He deserves to fucking get help and actually redeem himself one way or another. Alright? You cannot fucking argue with me that it doesn't matter if he put disclaimers in his videos. He should not have done that. If he should not have made those videos, including even the small bits of the child of Bluey. If he knew that minors were going to have access to it, considering it's fucking Bluey out of all things. Of course you're going to have minors access to it. But it's like saying that I can't make any YouTube poops, especially with a lot of mature and dirty humor in my YTPs, especially, let's say, not just Bluey, but a lot of other various kids shows for that matter, like SpongeBob, maybe Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Pokemon, all that. Because what I'm trying to say, it's you know how a lot of my YTPs, at least as of recently, I know some of them are still age restricted, because that's not actually my intentions to age restrict them, because it was YouTube's decision, because of course that's YouTube. What else would they be? It's like saying that even if I put a parental advisory warning at the beginning of my videos, my YTPs, if you don't know, they stand for YouTube poop. You probably know what YouTube poop is. If not, you can feel free to look it up. I don't want to bother explaining that. But YouTube poop, the YouTube poops I've been making, especially Bluey and other sources, especially other kids shows, they have a lot of adult humor in them, especially swearing language, plenty of sex jokes, even some that are like considerably by some people rather offensive jokes. But I mean, come on, it's fucking YouTube poop. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna fucking cancel me as well? Because even if I put the parental advisory in my Bluey YTPs, let's just say, especially my fucking Bluey collabs, they're gonna have a lot of humor like that. You're just gonna fucking cancel me too, because even if I knew that some minors are gonna see this, because especially I know damn well in my first Bluey YouTube collab that I made specifically in mid 2020, I witnessed at least a ton of children, or minors for that matter, access to seeing that video, at least before. I at least remember at one point it was age restricted. I'm not sure if it's still age restricted to this day. I haven't looked at it yet. But even if it is right now, before it was age restricted, at least more than plenty of minors were seeing this. And you wanted that involved? At least the main thing that involved, that at least stood out for a lot of people, especially in the first Bluey collab I've done so far, was, let's say, Bandit. Like, there were jokes of a censor bar over Bandit, like making it to where it looks like Bandit is begging Bluey or Bingo, like basically with a censor bar over like the reversal clips of whether it's like Bandit picking up the children or children attacking Bandit or like tackling Bandit, whatever. It's like, what the hell? It's like I said, if you're gonna cancel fucking BMB because he featured cropped Bluey in his iceberg video in order to actually prove a point that's the bottom of the iceberg because it's rather disturbing, he agrees that this is disturbing as hell, then fucking go ahead, cancel me for literally having like a lot of inappropriate, like obviously not illegal, but rather like mature in like adult humor in my YTPs, especially of Bluey or other kids shows for that matter that I've done YTPs on, especially when I have the parental advisory warning at the beginning, and that at least half of these, if not most of them, are not even age restricted. So that's just my point. What the hell is wrong with some people? Some people are just straight up, from what I've been seeing so far, at least due to my current knowledge, is that some people are somehow agreeing with these quote-unquote or child groomer allegations that about the whole iceberg thing, that they just decided to leave him. And look, if that makes you uncomfortable, like fine. At least don't fucking harass him. Don't fucking ruin his life. Don't fucking mentally destroy him, because that's exactly at least for the most part what the people who harassed him did. Like that's what it was mainly caused by the people who harassed him by spamming the pictures of the Jacko post that Busker was doing. And like I said, at least for some other parts of that reason, of the reason why B&B was so unfairly canceled, was because of how some people are just straight up believing that stupid bullshit that he was intentionally trying to show NSFW, especially the child art, to fucking minors on the internet through a YouTube video.
This shit was on YouTube from May 2021 until sometime in 2022.
Oh, wow. Wow, oh my god, really? I didn't know that. But what about when he said that all of the images are censored and this is not for kids, obviously? What about that?
Wow! Fucking amazing!
Fucking amazing!
Oh, motherfucker!
Motherfucker! That's what you sound like.
Yeah, even if you put this as not for kids only.
Even if you put this as not for kids only.
Is not going to fucking watch it. So the question is, why did you put it on fucking YouTube?
Why did you put it on fucking YouTube? He put it on YouTube because his purpose was to make fun of the the child the Bluey art. And like I said, he censored them, he cropped them, he blurred them. He mentioned that it was not for kids, and even if kids happen to watch it, if he knew kids were watching it, guess what? He has no control over that because of what I just fucking said earlier, so... yeah.
Yeah, I do know we deleted it, but still. Oh my fucking god!
Oh my fucking god! I already cannot stand his voice. I really just cannot. And look, he fucking turned off the comments because he knew literally 90% of people who are actually mentally stable in the head that they're gonna fucking disagree with him, actually criticize him at least, and then he's just not gonna fucking take it. Wow. Just fucking wow. And yeah, I can scream at you all I want, just not on Twitter, just on a fucking YouTube video. I have every right to fucking criticize you because you are literally just... You just fucking blew this out of proportion, that's what it is. What the hell? Okay, well, listen, I had enough of this, so look, I'm sorry that this video came out as negative, but I did promise that if at least most people agree that I should talk about the B&B Productions situation, give out my honest opinions and takes, and even confrontations of what other people should think, at least that I would appreciate what other people should think, because of I believe what's really going on, then I just rather make it. I feel like this need to be said. I know for a fact that he did say on his more recent community post that he's going to sooner or later sometime down the line make a video discussing about what was going on, and if anything, I hope the video turns out well. I wish, if you're watching this B&B Productions, I wish you the very best of luck, especially within the rest of your life, and just in hopes that you do get mental help, get the help you need. Hopefully you'll redeem yourself. I still care about you, and I just really hope you'll take that into account, even if, let's say, you don't really give me any sort of feedback, because I understand you're still depressed at this time. But anyway, definitely good luck on that explanation video. Good luck with everything else. I just hope everything turns out I just hope everything turns out well for you, and especially even at least most of the Bluey fandom that are actually mentally right and all that. And look, do not take this as I'm actually harassing him. I know I kind of mocked his voice, but like I said, they have nothing better to do but just blow any of his past mistakes, any of B&B's past mistakes and regrets way out of proportion, as if they're claiming him to be someone that I happen to figure out that he's truly not. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope everyone eats all their fruits and veggies and plenty of protein as well. And I hope you get enough sleep despite what's going on. I hope everything goes for the best that it can possibly be. I just hope things will eventually get better, even if not really at its best. So, yeah, thanks for watching.